I would like to show you a few flags. It may seem that I showed you all these flags at random, however, they all have one thing in common. Each and every one of them represents a rule of vexillology. These are the flag design principles. Keeping it simple, using meaningful symbolism, using 2 to 3 basic colors, no lettering or seals, and be distinctive or be related. The first flag represents the keep it simple, just a simple 3-striped flag. The second flag, the flag of Yakutia, a federal subject of Russia, it represents the symbolism. It had the white disc represents the northern sun, the blue, the white, and the green represent the sky, the snow, and the taiga, respectively, while the red represents the courage of the people. The third flag, the flag of the former Republic of Anguilla, represents the 3 colors rule. It has orange, white, and blue. The reason I chose it is because it has 3 cute dolphins. I mean, come on! The flag of Colorado represents the 4th rule. No lettering or seals. I could have included almost any flag. However, I chose the flag of Colorado because it is one of the few US states which don't include the state seal plastered on a dark blue background. And finally, the flag of Finland. It represents the 5th rule. Be distinctive or be related. It is part of the very large Nordic family. These people are just so creative, aren't they? So from this it may seem that using these principles are the only way to have a good flag. Breaking the rule could mean it would be rubbish. However, I'm here to break that theory. And I'll say that if you break any of these rules, the flag can be totally fine. And I will break each and every one, except the 5th one. You'll see why. In keeping it simple, I have this example. Would you rather have this nice 3-striped flag, which is kind of boring, or would you rather have a nice coat of arms? Or a better example, the flag of Austria. Would you rather have this flag or this flag? Sometimes keeping it simple can make any flag boring, and that is not good because it could classify it as a bad flag instantly. Now, there could be an argument, the fact that if you include symbols like these, it would be much more expensive to make the flag. Well, that is true, that is true. I went to Vienna last year, and this is the only flag I saw which was being sold. I mean, come on. It has an eagle breaking the chains of... I'm just gonna gloss over that. The second example is symbolism. There are many flags in the world that don't really have symbolism. The best example is Canada. It's simply meant to make people say, oh, that's Canada, when they see it. This is the reason why the Canada Unity flag was never adopted as the official flag, because the blue stripes represent the French minority, and that means that the flag will include symbolism, which is bad for the flag of Canada. The third rule is using 2 to 3 colors. This is the second most broken rule, and it is also the best, because there are many good flags that use more than 3 colors. The flag of the Seychelles, the flag of Mauritius, and the flag of South Africa are great examples. But just don't exaggerate. I forgot to say this, but if you put too many things on a flag, or too little, it's instantly classified as a bad flag. Do not do a Virginia when you put more than 13 colors on your flag. The fourth rule is no lettering or seals. This is the most broken rule, and it is usually horribly done. This is a good example. Without the text saying California Republic, the flag of California wouldn't be as recognizable. Same thing goes with this proposed flag of Utah. For some reason, it wouldn't just look the same if it didn't include 1847 on it. Which brings me to the fact that text has to have symbolism if it wants to be applied. In terms of seals and coat of arms, Mexico does a pretty good job at it. The only reason really that they keep using it is to distinguish between the flag of Italy, but it's still a decent flag. And the fifth rule is one that can't really be broken, because when you make a flag, it can only be distinctive or be related. An example of looking good and being related is the flag of Venezuela, which is related to the flag of the former country of Gran Colombia, the country that encompasses Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador, which is the reason why all these three countries use similar flags. And you can be distinctive, like the flag of Roswell, New Mexico. And even when you have an absolutely horrendous flag, you can be distinctive. Or technically speaking, this should be related to all the other terrible flags. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, there are two reasons. First of all, an economic reason. The better the flag, the more people will buy, no matter if they're tourists or if they're citizens. They will buy it for whatever reasons, such as showing off that they went to that country, having a reminder that they went to it, or to put it on a flagpole patriotically. That sounded too American for me. Moving on. And the second reason is because when things look good, it makes us happy. Again, I forgot to say the fact that I'm using flags as an example, because any type of design has rules, has similar rules, and so they can also be broken. It's an evolutionary reason for why we become happy when we see something beautiful. Because if something is symmetrical in the wild, for example, then that means everything is fine. But if it's not symmetrical, if it's asymmetrical, then it surely something must have broken loose, or is currently breaking loose. In conclusion, you shouldn't really always follow the rules. Rules should only be a guidance of what you can do and what you cannot really do. Do not exaggerate. Yeah, thank you very much.